What is up, everyone? Thank you for joining in tonight. Mr. Ordinary, Zimmit Co., Slightly Adrift, Skilled One, Pikmins, what's going on? Jazz Wizzy, what is up, everyone? Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Phantom Lake, my dude, what is up? Happy opening day, MLB 2024. For those of you who care, Phantom Lake, I know you're one of them. Hey, here we go. Another season. Another long, disappointing, shitty season for the A's. That's okay. Pocket sizzle. Boston probably going to whip up on Oakland more than a few times this year. That's okay. How is everybody? Man, I mean, do we even talk about what's going on out there? The block is hot. What is going on? Tempers flaring left and right. Copy this, don't copy that. Gatekeeper, not a gatekeeper. Man, I don't know. I don't know what to say about any of it, man. It's thank you, Skilled One. Appreciate it, man. It's busy, which is good. And here we are, Toys Day. We made it. But anyways, man, I don't know what's going on out there. Hopefully people get level-headed and just kind of move on. Hoping that's what happens. We got a busy show tonight. We got Lee from Hip Hop Toyz is coming in. We're going to talk to him about not only Hip Hop Toyz, but Remix Plethora. He runs that account as well. We'll talk to Ocular Rhombus. He's going to come in here probably towards the end of the show and do a little preview of yeah. What up, Dre? What up, Stormerco? Pikmins, yeah, I agree, dude. 100%, man. But anyways, we're going to talk to Ocular Rhombus. He's going to come in here and talk about Robot Resurrection going on Sunday. Those pieces drop Sunday night at 7 p.m. And East Coast, 10 p.m. And then Monday night, we'll be back here at 6 p.m. Regular time on Monday, though. Next week, 2 shows, Monday and Thursday. Monday is going to be a recap of Robot Resurrection, and then Thursday, Mothman Republic will be on the show. So that's the plan. Also got some opens tonight from Akashic Records and Toys, Zimmit Co., and Neil Ewing with a little sprinkling of Saruga Mark on there. Him and Akashic Records did a little combo. So, yeah, Mr. Ordinary, don't worry about it. Most everything's been deleted already, so you can't really even follow along, not even if you wanted to, man. So it's all good. It's probably better that way. Anyway, so if anybody missed the boy, Phantom Lake. If anybody missed the Sewer Showdown show last week, I did a little video for that. I'm going to play that real quick, and then we'll get moving. We'll wait for Lee to come in and see what's going on. So if you missed the Sewer Showdown show, here is a video, 1 minute and 25 seconds of Sewer Showdown. And there you go. Sewer Showdown 2024. That's that. Yeah, Dre, I agree, man. There was a lot of dope pieces in there, especially if you're a Turtle fan. There was some really cool stuff. Just waiting on Lee on Hip Hop Toyz to come in. We'll see what's going on there. So let's see what else we got going on. We got giveaways tonight. We got a 3.75 from Ocular Rhombus. Bam. Gave that to me to give away at Assembly Required. Bam. Yeah, the Shogun Krang. Nice. I agree. Also from Hip Hop Toyz, if you guys remember this was the Cousin TL figure that was being sold at Assembly Required. Got one of those to give away tonight. Got a bunch of stickers to give away tonight. Oh, so let's see. Let's see what we got. All right. So maybe we're going to have to switch things up a little bit. Why don't we do this, man? Why don't we take a look at a couple pieces? Just because Lee isn't in here yet, we will maybe just kind of kill some time and wait for him to come in. First one that I'm going to show is Akashic Records and Saruga Mark. So this was a really small run. I want to say like maybe there was 5 or 6. I think I saw Zimico actually post one of these too. But this is just a little small Safubi Dino from Saruga Mark that was painted by Akashic Records. Really cool paint on that one. Super, super nice. Bam. Yep, Akashic Records and Saruga Mark on that one. Like I said, this one, there was I think it was a really small run. These are definitely sold out. I checked before the show, but there was, I want to say 4 or 5 of these, but really cool piece. Yeah, nice one. Saruga Mark, man. Saruga Mark, Safubi that is pulled right here in the United States. I can't remember what episode he was on, but that's a really good episode. You should check that out. There's not too many people, at least that I know of, that are doing a lot of Safubi stuff in the United States, but he's definitely one of them. Yeah, really cool. Nice paintwork too. Akashic Records has some really, really nice paintwork and vinyl work too. They got a lot of stuff on there. If you're interested in something from Akashic Records, there's plenty of stuff in the store. Go take a look. Not these, however. Yeah, B to the Don't Collect Safubi. I know. I think that's probably coming to an end, unfortunately. But there we go. That's the first one. And then the next one we'll go to is Neil Ewing. Neil Ewing, man, these animals that he does are super sick. They sell out really fast. I did get my hands on a Rudy, though. Actually, you know what? I actually have a banner for this. Let's do this. Bam. There we go. This is the so there's 2 from Neil Ewing. We have this guy right here, which is Rudy the Rhino. Yeah, Neil Ewing, sick piece. Articulation here in the neck. Yeah, really cool. And then we got a Rambunctious Christopher, which is in the Goji blue color. Again, 1 point of articulation on the neck. Really nice piece there. Again, this is Neil Ewing. Rambunctious Christopher, little hand-drawn header card right here. Neil Ewing. Bam. Really nice. And then here was the Rudy card. Nice on that one. Got some stickers here. Bam. Neil Ewing. And then a patch. Neil Ewing. Like I said, Neil Ewing stuff usually sells out pretty quick. I don't know if there's any of these. These are definitely gone. There might be some stuff available on his site, but that stuff usually goes pretty quick. Just, generally speaking. Bam, there's the Rudy again. And again, here's the Akashic Records. And I saw Dave pop up. What's up, Dave? This is a sick piece, man. Really cool paint. This is a Saruga Mark pole with a Akashic Records paint on it. Bam, baby blue dino. Yeah. Next is Zimico. So Zimico, a couple of these pieces I didn't realize actually came from Designer Con. I just kind of had them tucked away, but there's two from Designer Con, and then there's another one. Zimico did a solo clutter show recently, um, and I got one of these double XL. These are so sick. There is some really cool glow in here. I'm gonna have to get my light real quick to show you that. But this thing lights up. There's actually a post of this one. I think actually not a poster. If you go into a store, you can see a really good picture of the glow on this one. But man, this thing is massive. That antler rack is huge. Yeah, antler hopper. That's a sick one. Zimico, that's the largest one. Also got that one at Designer Con. Super sick. Love that one. Zimico, as usual, has had some really cool drops lately. Plenty of stuff in the store there. Go snatch you up something. And this is another one from Designer Con. I love this one. This one caught my eye right away. I hadn't seen this one. The Designer Con was the first time I had seen this one, but love this guy right here. Fletch, what's up, man? Tim, were you asking how the antler hopper stands? Um, it actually stands phenomenal, man. I mean, it's on my hand right now, but it really has no problem. The cool thing is that like if you look at this, so this is all solid resin, so this is really heavy. So it's really kind of front end heavy here because of the stance. And then you look at the antlers, which are probably a little bit light. They do kick back a little bit, but it's not too tall or so far back that it's going to pull the piece back. You know what I mean? So once you set it down, it's almost like all the weight is really centered. So it actually stays. It's got some really good balance on it, but it's solid. Um, oh yeah. Yeah, man. But anyways, it stands up really good. Um, race Figgy needs for his glory. And then so anyway, so this was the last Zimico piece. Bam. Let's see here. Those were the opens for tonight. Let's see. What else can we do? I'm gonna hit Lee up real quick just to make sure he's still good to go. Talk amongst yourself. Thank you. Um, Retro Zone Neon, what's going on, man? Again, Robot Resurrection this Sunday is when that starts. Pieces drop at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And you'll want to tune into Ocular Rhombus on Instagram for that one. And then Toys Alive on Monday night for the recap at 6 p.m. Imagine one of Zimit's creatures knocking on your door and saying, "Take me to your leader." Yeah. I mean, shoot, you got several thousand to choose from. Yeah, Pickman's Vinyl says, "Get your robots ready." That's going to be a great show, man. I'm looking forward to that. There's over 60 artists in that show. I remember talking to I remember talking to Ocular Rhombus when it first started, and he said he just had like 12 at one point, and then it went from like 12 to like 30, and then 30 to like 50, and now I saw the final list, and it looks like it's just over 16. He said he might be adding a couple more in the next couple days. So um, Lee's responding right now, so we'll see what's going on with him. Okay, cool. He's just having some problems logging in. Uh, he should be in here in a minute. Yeah, that's going to be a good show, man. That's going to be a good show, man. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of really, there's some people that I haven't heard of in that one. And actually, with these last three shows that we've done, Pocket Salsa, 17 pieces total lined up. Holy smokes, dude. Um, but with those last three shows, we've had Apocalyptico 3, Sewer Showdown, and then Robot Resurrection. And there's a lot of artists that I just became familiar with because of those three shows. So that's cool. Lots of artists in that one. Let me switch that because we did the drops for tonight. But yeah, that'll be a great show. Put the names there at the bottom, and there's a lot of people that Babadrock. How about that one? I know Babadrock was on vacation for a little bit, and he just came back. So that's cool. He's been kind of out for a little while. Barrio Boba, Figurative Arsenal, Cave Dweller, Dirty Yeti again, Epoxy Crusader again. And a lot of these guys, like Epoxy Crusader, I know he just put a lot of time and effort into Sewer Showdown, and then he turns around and does another show a couple weeks later. That's cool. Gray Skull, that's another one. Hurt's coming out. Hurt's going to have a drop of multiple pieces, and they're going to be for sale, which is cool. Jump the Dragon, Where You Been, man, that's awesome. Kajiki, Kiers, King Spider, Lab Monkey 9, man. Wins the Rat Boy Australia in the house. LRH, Mallow, man. There's a Massive Mini Horse. That's another one, man. What is up, dude? I haven't talked to that dude in a little while. M. Clapthor Robots. That's a cool one. If you haven't seen M. Clapthor Robots, I met him at Assembly Required, and there's some really, really cool pieces that he does. Phantom Lake is in there. There's Pikmin's, Plastic Vomit, Pocket Sizzle. Dirty Yeti says, bam, my first original resin piece dropping for the show. Sick. That's awesome. Strafe 7, Mark Helis, man, Mark Ultra. Think outside the toy box. Think outside the toy box. That guy came back with a vengeance, huh? He was gone for a while, and then just I'd say within the last couple of months, started posting a ton of stuff. Carded figures, loose figures, just random kit bash stuff. It's been a lot of good figures from him. I have several of those, but they're old now, probably 3 years old, 4 years old now. Yeah, everybody loves robots, man. What a great subject, right, for Robot Resurrection, or just for a show in general, is robots. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know, but if has there been a robot show? Pneumonia be damned. Phantom Lake, do you have pneumonia, bro? We didn't talk about that. I hope you don't, man. Yeah, robots always do, man. I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be some really, really cool stuff. Like I said, over 60 artists, so there's bound to be some bangers in there. Again, Hip Hop Toyz is just trying to work out the bugs right now. He's trying to jump in, and then we'll get started with him. Next week, Mothman Republic. That'll be a cool show. That will be show number 99. Robot Resurrection recap on Monday will be episode 98 and a half. And then the following week, episode 100. What are we doing for episode 100? I have no idea. Lee, what is up, my man? All right, looks like Lee's ready to go. What's up, Lee? You ready, my man? Yo,
What's up, buddy?
what's up, man?
How is it going, dude?
It's
Fantastic on my end.
it's going. It's going, man. Where you at? Are you
I am at home.
I know.
I had
East,
to scramble to get here, man.
East Coast?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I thought. You were 3 hours ahead. What is up with you, dude? I got the pleasure of meeting you at Assembly Required. You had a booth there, and it was mostly about the Cousin TL pieces. And that was very, very cool, man. If anybody doesn't know about that, please go back to Hip Hop Toyz feed and check out what that whole thing was about. But that was awesome. You have been busy, my dude. Let me pull up your banner here real quick.
Yeah, man.
Bam, there we go. Yeah, dude, you got so much going on. First of all, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
So, my name's Lee. You might know me as Remix Plethrin back in the day. Now I'm one half of Hip Hop Toyz.
Awesome, dude. You have a show going on, an in-person show. It's your first show.
Yeah,
For Hip Hop
Gallery.
Toyz, right?
Yeah, man.
Dude, tell me about that. It is in New York at Clutter as we speak.
Yeah, for sure. No, so basically, it's just trying to do like a little inside look at the licensing process, a little brand representation, try to have at least one of every artist that we've worked with so far, at least one SKU or the other, because we have like fully painted figures, we have a line of sprays, we have like a line of giant guys we've just getting into releasing.
Yeah. So dude, so if you do some research on Hip Hop Toyz, when Hip Hop Toyz first started off, it looked like it was a lot of reporting on hip hop toys that were out there that were already made that you or yourself or the other guy was either collecting or just showing that, hey, there is a whole other world of toys dedicated to the hip hop community. And then a couple years ago, we started getting into this. This was your guys' first release.
Exactly.
As a
That's
figure.
our first fully licensed figure right there, man.
Yeah, first fully licensed figure. This is a cool Keith Dr. Octagon. This is a super sick piece. I remember when this first came out, dude. Had to have it. Awesome work there. So tell me, at what point did you go from just, was that always the plan, was to get into making figures, or was there just a big epiphany at one point where you're like, man, we should be making these things?
So yeah, basically it came about kind of serendipitously, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it was during the pandemic. I had been making, of course, doing the bootleg figure things for a long time. Art World, even years upon years before that. And I was like, same thing as all of us, I would make a tribute piece when someone would pass away or something. I had made a Shock G piece after he had passed away, and business partner Trent had saw it and reached out, and we just developed a friendship like in a matter of text, and then just that developed instantly, like, hey, he's a hip-hop promoter out of Australia, so he has all these business connections already, and I'd already made a figure for Open Mike Eagle, so I'd already done the officially licensed thing in the rap world, and it connected and it snowballed, and it's been about 2 years, and it's just been going nonstop.
Yeah, nonstop, man. I've seen you guys at, Assembly Required. I've seen you at Designer Con for the last few years. And it seems like every year that I see you guys, it's a bigger table with more stuff and a larger variety of stuff, man. I remember this last year, you had loose figures. You had those same loose figures carted up. You had the subway trains that had the graffiti on them. And now you got the show going. Dude, there's so much to ask you about, but what I'm super curious about is I went through your feed and tried to put a bunch of artists that you guys have worked with, and that is just an absolute stellar lineup of artists in there. How does it go? Now, you and I talked about this a little bit at Assembly Required, but for everybody else who doesn't know, because I think it's kind of fascinating, how does one officially license a figure with an artist like that?
So I've learned, like, the easiest thing, if you're having a question, like, just be yourself, be genuine and reach out to the artist, reach out to their representatives, reach out to the management. Um, have your numbers behind you, like have what you're going to sell it for, the number that you're intending to make, what your cost is, what your profit margin is going to be, like have all that down, and then just talk to them, just be genuine, be human. Like it's kind of how we always approached it. Let them know, hey, we know Super Sevens out there, but these are, we're doing the same thing, but these are kind of sculptures, handmade, hand painted, just packaged the same way as Super 7. They're not mass produced by any means, but it's still the officially licensed rappers, so it's the same exact game, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. How long does that process take, man? Like once you reach out to somebody, is it just a matter of them saying, yeah, go for it?
Sometimes it's as easy as that. It's as easy as, yeah, let's do it. They see the 3D render, they see the package figure, they're like, yeah, let's do it, let's move forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a year of going back and forth, them deciding what they want to do with the stance, exactly what they want to do with the packaging. Sometimes it's a no until they see it and they hold it and they actually look at the figure, and then it's a yes. So
Gotcha.
it's a mixed bag, to say the least.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the actual figures itself, man, I know because at the designer con table, you're over there and you're just fine detailing some paint on some of these figures. Are you the one creating the figures from the ground up?
Yeah. So we have a handful of designers that will go out for the 3D renders, and like I'm learning to do that, and it's just I couldn't keep up with the demand if I was going to do it in the amount of time that it takes me to turn over one. And like we were saying, like you see the number that we're making, the number behind the scenes that are no's or maybes, you know what I mean, that won't ever see the light of day. So it still takes time for those to be modeled and then painting. But from the aspect of printing the figure to painting the figure, if I have to sculpt, cast, mold, any of that up to packaging, that's all me.
Wow. And then you're pretty much running the websites too, right? I mean, the IG page. You're not just running the Hip Hop Toyz one, but you're also running the Remakes Plethora page.
I do the Remakes Plethora. My business partner Trent does the Hip Hop Toyz one.
Nice.
So I'll take care of like some of the photos. Sometimes we have other people doing the photos, and then we just kind of throw it all in, and then he manages that one because he was the longtime collector, like you were saying, how we spotlighted beforehand. That was that was just his passion as well. And then once we connected, then it just became from a display and a history of toys to it becoming right into the business.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. So
yeah.
Good point, dude, about the collector spotlights. I forgot about that, dude. I did see those in there. Now, did Hip Hop Toyz, did that start off as your site, or was that your partner's site?
That was his site.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then the collector spotlight. And then so how did you two end up linking up? Just by seeing each other's stuff on IG?
Yeah, it was all Instagram, man. It was just one of those things during the pandemic, just looking at art and living in our phones, and in the digital world, we just connected there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, dude. So you guys have had a ton of projects going on. Tell me about the watches, man. If you look on their page, they've got some dope watches. I've seen them at Designer Con. What's going on with those?
So it's basically like how any designer brand would start out, where they go and we buy Casio G-Shocks, and then we fully customize them from all the guts are still the original Casios, but we customize all the outsides, the bezels, the bands. We do engravings on the underneath. The lights are detailed, like everything. I can't think of the faces are all custom artwork, like everything on it, but it's still a full Casio G-Shock guts inside of it.
Nice. And then so is that kind of the same thing with the figures? The artist has to see it first before they approve it, and then that's a whole licensing thing on its own. Or once you get the license, are you allowed to make whatever you want?
It's individual, as you could imagine. Yeah. Some artists are hardcore toy collectors already, so they are just 100% in. They're like, yeah, whatever you do, just make me one. You know, if you do whatever version, do whatever artist collab you want to do, just make me one. So that's part of it. And then other ones, like you have to go through every step of the process. If we want to change anything, if we want to do a different paint scheme, and I understand it fully as because they're artists just as much as we are, you know.
Yeah, exactly. tell me about some of the frustrations that you run into, man. I mean, I would love to think that all these interactions that you have with everybody is just so great and everybody's right on the ball. But I mean, honestly, I mean, they're artists and they're probably on the road a lot if they're touring at the time or doing other stuff. Is it once you start a project, man? Is it that whole process that you talked about where you have to get it, make the figure first, make the back, or send it to them, get it signed off? I'm sure you probably have. I mean, you probably have stuff in the works right now. I would imagine, right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like
Yeah.
yeah, there's one that like I have clear coded right before I jumped on here. I'm gonna go make sure and then I'm gonna be sending photos tonight and message them to be like, hey, I know you happen to be in town this weekend. Do you want to meet up to see the figure? And
Nice.
usually I would ship it out, but this artist happens to be he's actually in town tomorrow, Saturday night performing. So I'm probably just going to meet up with him, because I have a direct contact with him.
Sweet.
Sometimes it goes as quick as easy in that, but most of the time it's really just when it's at that stage, I'm already working on pre-orders from before. So I'm never really delayed by any interaction with what I have upcoming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because we still have 3 figures that you've seen online at different shows, but we haven't officially dropped a release yet. You know what I mean? And
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, we have like 3 or 4 deep currently.
Yeah, so you always got something cooking.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is another one, and actually, man, this is one that you gave me over at Assembly Required. But dude, this is a sick piece right here, dude. Tell me about this one.
Got you. So that's how we kind of look at it as like how sampling is looked at in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like we come from the bootleg world, so we understand it fully. But that's kind of like we made a couple of homage pieces, and those kind of like that was our first. I think that was our 3rd figure, maybe our 4th figure. I can't quite remember the number in which they were released.
Yeah.
But we have a couple, and we've moved away from the bootlegs. Like we did that kind of in the first year, but we haven't released a bootleg probably a year.
Okay.
Not over a year. Yeah, maybe 14 months now.
Yeah.
So that's just old stock, and like we don't sell them. We only made a super small number anyway as a tribute. So like I have a couple left. So like I knew you were a hardcore collector. So like right away when we talked, I was like, yeah, it made sense to give you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny, dude. I looked on the website. I didn't see those.
Oh, exactly. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. So, dude, let's go way back now. I don't know, and maybe there is. Maybe I'm completely wrong, man. I don't know of a lot of people that are out there making hip hop figures. Is there? What is it that made you want to do hip hop figures? Just jump into that world in general.
I've always for as long as I can remember, hip hop's been my genre. Like my earliest memories on television and music are In Living Color, Yo MTV Raps, NWA, Dre's The Chronic. Like those 4 are like my 4 earliest memories, and then you add in The Simpsons, and that's the first 5. Everything creative, it all comes from that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been in that world just fully. And then whenever I would make a tribute piece, or the same way like we all do in the bootleg world for years, whenever I would make a tribute piece or I would make something from a movie that I love, it would be most likely hip hop. Like I made a Childish Gambino. It's just one of those where that's where my brain is at anyway. So it's horror movies, it's hip hop. Yeah.
Nice. Now, when you were younger, were you collecting anything at all? As far as figures go?
Oh yeah. So like I had a ton of the original Ninja Turtles. I had the original run of like the RoboCop figures that they released.
Yeah.
So I had a handful of those. Parents were hardcore drug addicts, man. So like every collection I've ever had was like just stolen up until like I was in college. So like there's a weird, So like there's a weird long history with it, but like, so I don't have anything from like any of my collections and stuff. So it kind of, it took me a while to get back into it. You know what I mean? To be able to be like, comfortable in knowing that I can buy stuff and I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That probably came in when I was 30, you know,
yeah, yeah.
graduate college at what, 22, 23, then a couple of years of trying to, yeah, it's probably about 30. Yeah. So I've only been collecting like, 6 or 7 years now. So it's just a small, slow little build up as opposed to 30 years what it should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. Are there artists out there that you like to collect, or is it just kind of you making your own stuff?
Oh, it's all of our friends. You know what I mean? Like I love throwaway toys. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Fritz, I have a giant number of his stuff.
yeah,
Eddie, Resin Blood,
yeah.
Max, you know what I mean? One
Oh,
Trick
yeah.
Pony. It's like that's all I buy. Edwin, uh, Figure Fetish. Yeah. So like I just buy my friends' work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pocket Salsa is asking if you've ever done a Gravediggers tribute. Man, Gravediggers, that's a good one, dude. That just came up on my Spotify. I just like songs, and there's like
Oh yeah,
1,200
yeah.
songs on there. And a Gravediggers came up the other day, dude. That was a good one.
We haven't yet, but we have reached out. So
Oh, nice.
so there's
Awesome.
a lot of things that like we'll go back and forth in messages and like, yeah, there's so many pokers in the fire to say the least. And then like you said, we have the watches, we have the trains. There's so many different outlets, because certain artists like will release a train and a watch, and some will just release a figure, some will just release a watch. It's just it's all over the place. So
All
you
over.
can imagine how many conversations are going.
Yeah, definitely, man. And God, dude, there's so much material out there. I mean,
Dude, it's endless, man. Like every time I think about something, then I realize, oh, I can only create 10 figures a year if they're all hand painted by me. Constant, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So many that I can make in the amount of time that it takes.
yeah, exactly, man. And the possibilities are just endless, man. I mean, I love Cormega, and I'm thinking, there's a couple of them that now. Okay, let's ask this: do you do customs? Like, if someone came to you and was like, "Hey, man, I love Gangstar Moment of Truth. Would you make me a figure of that?"
There was a time when I would say yes. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah,
As of right now, I
yeah,
I can't commit to it because just of the amount of pre-orders and the amount of drops that we have coming out. You
yeah,
know what I mean? I just can't. But if
yeah,
the artist comes to us with that request, that's a different story. As opposed to you know what I mean?
yeah. No. Yeah, that definitely makes sense, man. I thought there was another question in the. Oh, that's what it was. I was looking at. Flesh said he'd love a Necro figure. That's cool. Necro's cool, man. That dude's wild. Um, is that Uncle Howie? Um, but anyways, yeah, man. There's Eddie right there. Um, so, dude, let's talk about your show real quick, and then I want to get into a little bit of Remix Plethora.
Of
Uh,
course.
the show that you have going on at Clutter right now. How many pieces do you have out there?
Dude, there's stuff that's not even, you know what I mean? There's stuff that's not even up because I don't know how to stop when I turn on creation. You know what I mean? So there's at least 30 pieces that he has. There's some that are in small runs as opposed to one-offs because like they usually just want one-offs for a gallery show.
Yeah,
But when they're officially licensed, it's a different animal for a gallery. You know what I mean? It's a completely different approach. It's a different aspect of stock that they have.
yeah,
But like I was saying, I tried to do like a retrospect. I tried to reach as far back with every artist and do at least a spray version or a fully painted version. Some of them are the artist proof where they had to be changed.
gotcha.
Like for instance, the first common iteration on the back, he's holding a 40.
Hmm.
Well, now he didn't want a 40 on it, he wanted a microphone. But then the microphone placement, it took us a bit to find. So the ones that they have up there, I think they're all just different microphone pieces, different segments of different iterations of
Right.
where it would actually be posed. So like just to try to give an insight of like, so this is like what the process is if they look at it. Some of the backers are slightly different because they were requested to be changed. Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
just stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I could see. I mean, just having a figure made of you, just alone is one thing, but then getting all the intricacies of like how you're posed, what are you holding, what's the backer look like, if you're wearing something that maybe you were down with a long time ago that you're not anymore. Uh,
That's exactly kind of, yeah. So that's fully what we go through. And like
yeah,
when we first started, we were trying, like we were just wanting the figure made, so all of our poses were very static
yeah,
and not a lot of emotion. And then we've learned that, we kind of like them to have a little bit more life in them, a little bit more movement, even if it is just a slight pose or a slight difference. So ever since then, they're all completely different stances.
yeah. And now those are all 100% hand done, man. So if you have like what do you think your biggest run is that you've done so far?
We've we've made close to 100. We've done over 100 of the fully painted for certain figures.
Wow, man.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's all you.
yeah. That's all me, man. But like I've been an artist for years, man. I painted gallery works. I worked on canvases that are 10 foot by 8 foot. So it's just I know how to paint. It just
Yeah,
takes.
I was gonna say, man, you said when you were going to college, is that what did you study art in college?
Yeah, yeah. So I got accepted into art college, and I went there and I got quoted for how much it was going to cost.
Yeah.
I took that quote went to community college shopping, found a really good art teacher, and told him, "Hey, man, I got accepted into this degree. This is what I want." So I got a master's level art education from a community college.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So it was really affordable, 2, 3 grand a semester, a year, whatever it was. But
Right.
I did that for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, you put some work in there.
yeah, for sure. Because like I said,
Now,
that's the only way I'm happy is if I'm doing art or creating. Like my brain just doesn't work otherwise. I've tried it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, dude, where do you find? So, you got the figures, and I mean, if you're making 100 figures by hand and then painting them all by hand, or I mean, not on every run, but I mean, it definitely sounds like a full time deal that you got going on, man. With, I mean, collaborating with people and just getting organized, and then producing the figures and backers. Um, that's a lot of work, man. Do you still find time for other art, other canvas work, or anything like that?
So I've just now started to get back into it. So Yo-Yo Dime. I'm sure you know him, right? Out of
Yeah,
Canada.
on the
Yeah,
show in April.
of course. So
Yes.
Scott is absolutely amazing. He did a show, a Mickey show, because he went in the public domain, Steamboat Willie. He did one with Earth to Kentucky.
Hmm.
That was one of the first times that I'd been able to create something outside of Christmas gifts or birthday gifts for people. And it just kind of invigorated me to force myself to make stuff again. You know what I mean? Outside of, but like in all honesty, it's a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like doing
Yeah.
this. So the amount of time that I have free, it's like kind of just going to hang out with my wife and watch movies or go to concerts or go to stand up.
Yeah. Sure. Um, Now, in your personal life, man, if you give me a top three hip hop artists for Lee,
Jesus Christ.
if that's even possible.
Man, all right, so we'll just go by importance of like age. You know what I mean? That's the
Okay.
easiest way to give you. So oh my dude, yeah.
Take your time. It's all
I
right.
can talk for hours, man. Um all right, Eminem, just because of age wise from 14 to 19,
Mm,
20, and he's still going strong. He's super talented. It's just because he was so important to me when I was a teenager.
yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, I think, is probably the most talented that's rapping right now.
Mm,
Killer Mike is a very close second. Um, I really love Danny Brown.
mm.
Man, and then we could just go hours on old school. Yeah, no, we'll just go with those 4 or 5. Like I know you said 3, but yeah.
Eddie says Hammer. I like how he dropped the MC on that. I think the most current one. I believe it's Pastor Hammer now. I believe is what that is. Mike G.
Beastie Boys should probably pass. Yeah, Beastie Boys will take out Eminem on the list.
Yeah, dude, there's so many. I mean, how do you pick just one? I'm surprised now looking at your kind of your list of artists that you have, dude. There's a lot of old school people on there, man. Brock Kim, Black Alicious.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't have some older guys in there.
No, for sure, man. That's what I was trying to think of and trying to go through, and it's just I could do a list by like every 8 years, man. Like give me 3 every 8 years, and then give me 2 hours to compile it so I can cross-reference, and then yeah, man.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Rap change like every 7 or 8 years. You know what I mean? It goes through a big shift.
Yeah.
Each one of those eras are super important.
Zimico, Public Enemy, KRS-One, Run DMC, EPMD. God, I love those guys. Slick Rick, one of my all-time favorites. Slick Rick's got a few figures out there, man. I saw that you guys. I thought you had done a figure with him, but he was actually I think he was talking about this figure right here. Delicious Again, Peter. But I know that he has a couple Slick Rick pieces and some Beastie Boy pieces out there too.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things of like, there's, like we were saying, we could sit here and talk artists for days upon days. There's so much material.
Yeah.
And then every time you think you have an idea, you think about it for 5 minutes and you have an even cooler idea.
Yeah.
It's
a really man, I want to almost say eclectic group of artists that you have in the lineup there, man. If you look at some of those, there's old, there's new. Dell, I mean, dude, I'm surprised that there's a lot of people that don't know about Dell. Dell's a local guy from where I'm at, in the Berkeley area. But Dell from High Road, dude, one of my all-time favorites. And then I see the watch and the figures and hence to meet. That's another dude who has he made a couple of Dell figures too. So he made some Deltron 3030 figures that are super sick. But there's some guys that I would say are not super well known in that lineup, but they're dope, man. They are dope figures. Let's get into Remix Plethora real quick.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, it's just trying to give them the respect, give them the homage. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of how we approach it, how we look at it. Cause like we all know Del the Funky Homo Sapien, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
only a handful of people know that he's the guy in the Gorillaz song, and that's all they know him from. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Absolutely, man. What's typically the reaction when you hit somebody up and say, "Hey, man," you introduce yourself and you say, "I make these action figures or these art toy pieces, and I'd love to make a figure of you," and you kind of give them your spiel. Would you say that the majority of people are like, "Oh, hell yeah, dude, that's dope," or a lot of people are like, "Ah, man, that's weird"? What I mean,
it's most of the time, like, it's been super. They've all been about it. You know what I mean? And sometimes they have to be like, "Yeah, here's my agent's information." You know what I mean? Here, talk to my manager and stuff. But a lot of times they give me their number directly, or they'll be like, "Hey, hit me up on Instagram," and then I'll just communicate with them. Like, it's everyone's individual. Every deal is individual. So it's all over the place.
Yeah. Pocket Salsa says Dell related to Ice Cube. Not that I know of.
Yeah. I think they're cousins.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, Dell's actually helped write on a lot of early stuff, him and Ice. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Not their Pocket Sizzle. You gotta watch her ass. That's funny. So Remix Plethora, man. Now this goes back to before. When did Remix Plethora start for you?
I'd have to look back on Instagram, but probably 8 years, maybe around there.
Wow. Okay. So pre-COVID for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And how did that one come about, man? I actually have some of your Remix Plethora stuff, and it's not even close to. It's more. I would say it's more horror. Would you say that?
There's So the easiest way to describe it, like to give you the full spiel, I
Yeah.
didn't even know like this community existed. I had no idea that this art form existed. I always made homemade presents for all my friends.
Hmm.
And I had one friend who would just love horror movies, and I would always make him like little sculptures and shit. And he would always be like, dude, you got to find a way to sell these. You got to find a way to sell these. And then I was just watching Tested, Adam Savage from Mythbusters. He has a YouTube show called Tested, and he was making a mold of a lightsaber, man. And I saw that and I was like, I could probably make molds of these little sculptures. So I just started doing it. I had no idea that people were doing this and recreating action figures and doing like I had just had no idea any of this existed.
Yeah.
So I started making resin copies of all the little sculptures I would make, and I would go to horror conventions and set up. And then I just stumbled across the community afterwards, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of doing this. So then I started making backers, and I started changing from using whatnots to actually casting figures. And then I went from doing that to just using a lot of rack toys and putting all the thought into the backer cards and just mass producing those.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, so you're pretty much, when it comes to molding and casting, it sounds like you're kind of self-taught, man. It was something that you were doing it and, wanted to step it up and make a little more, I wouldn't say mass quantity, but you're making more than one.
That's exactly how, like, I saw it done. I recreated it. And then Figure Fetish, Jason.
Oh yeah, man. He's great, dude.
So he stopped by my booth, and I wasn't there at a comic book convention. Probably I think it's my second ever show. My first ever show was at a horror convention, but I was at a comic book convention. I wasn't at my booth. He stopped by, was talking about it. My wife told me about it after, and the only thing I remember, she was like, he has really amazing Scott Pilgrim tattoos on his forearms.
Hmm.
And then I met the guy like 3 or 4 months later at another event. He came up to me and we're talking toys, and I see his forearms, and I was like, holy crap, you were talking to my wife. And then he's like, oh wow, you were that. So once that happened, then he introduced me to the world. He introduced me to Fritz, and then from there he showed me like all the other toy makers on Instagram, and he brought me to a couple like little small shows in Winston, and then from there it just so I just kind of backed my way into the community. I had no idea it even existed.
Yeah, Fritz from Throwaway Toys, man. That guy, he's awesome. You said you have a bunch of pieces from him. I'm sure, are they massive? He has,
I have a couple of like 18-inch wrestlers, because like we go to amateur wrestling together all the time. Like he just moved out to Dallas, and like he's half a country away, but I'm still like I'm booking a flight here in a couple of days to fly out there so we can go watch stand up and go watch some amateur wrestling.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man. That's
amateur,
right.
I mean like professional wrestling, but very much the amateurs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Lab Monkey 9 was actually telling me about some of those shows up in Canada that they were having. But dude, I mean, I would say in the kind of early 90s, man, when I was really into wrestling, there was local shows that would come around here all the time. I mean, I'd shoot up to Sacramento and go to Arco Arena and see, WWF and stuff like that. But locally,
indie shows and
high school gyms, stuff like that.
That's exactly what we go see. Yep.
Yeah. Those are wild, man. That's entertaining stuff. As far as remakes plethora goes, man, how does it work with conventions for you? Now, when you're at a convention, are you doing a split booth of both of those? Or if you're going in as Hip Hop Toyz, it's all Hip Hop Toyz?
It's all Hip Hop Toyz, man. I haven't done like the only remakes plethora thing I've done is I've put the name on the back of the Hip Hop Toyz packaging. Like I've done a couple of art shows, you know what I mean? Like I've done the one for Yo-Yo Dine. I've got one coming up. I've been invited to the Clutter shows and stuff like that. So like, that's developing. So like I'm bringing it kind of back out of retirement slightly, but even then it's in super small quantities. It's only on the rarest of occasions.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But like for the past 2.5 years, or almost 2 years that we've been doing conventions under the Hip Hop Toyz thing. That's all that I do when I set up, because it just doesn't make sense to set up and then have all the branding and everything else, and then have two separate pitches, especially when everything's officially licensed.
Yeah. Right. Definitely. it sounds like it sounds like you probably spend the majority of the time, on the Hip Hop Toys side.
Yeah, for sure.
At least right now. Do you feel like that the Hip Hop Toy side is getting it seems like it's growing. I mean, obviously it's definitely growing. As that's growing, do you feel like Remakes plethora is shrinking, or it's just kind of on hold for now?
It's the way I look at it is Remakes plethora is growing as well because I am learning so much. I mean, it's changed the way that I look at toy making. It's changed the way that I look at the game that we're in. You know what I mean? Like beforehand, I had a lot of I don't even lack of direction.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I was very much just I would live from idea to idea, and if I didn't have the idea, I didn't create.
Yeah.
And it's kind of forced the fact of like, no, just work, just create. Something will come out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's kind of that
Do you,
mindset has changed drastically.
yeah, definitely, man. Do you think that it's, when you're doing a Hip Hop Toys piece, now you have the subject there, right? So you kind of know what you're making. So I don't want to say that takes any creativity out of it. It just kind of gives you the subject without having to really try to create one, right? Like and then you kind of get into the creating of, what's he holding, the stance that they're in, the backer. Do you think making a hip hop figure, do you find that when you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to make a figure of this guy, I know which direction I'm going, is that easier than sitting down as Remakes plethora and say, man, let's come up with an idea and just generate from scratch?
Not that it's easier,
Yeah.
it's parallel, kind of like you were saying. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
one side of the tracks versus the other. With the Hip Hop Toys thing, everything it's set in line. You know what I mean? They know if they want it from an album or if you want it from a certain picture, especially like a lot of times they have like, hey man, I really look good in these 5 pictures. You know what I mean? Because we're all kind of conceited,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right.
right. So it goes from there. And like, but with the Remakes plethora thing, man, I don't know when the inspiration is going to hit, when the idea is going to come. So like I was just saying, if I'm forcing myself to be in that idea, be in that creation mindset,
Yeah.
sometimes it'll come quicker, but if it's worth it, if it's a good idea, if it's something that's going to mean something, that's kind of few and far between.
Yeah.
I think that comes from the graffiti background, the kind of obstinate protest, middle finger to the air, art world kind of background.
Sure.
I just don't want to create something to have something that's pretty. You know what I mean? I want to have a message behind it if I can.
Yeah, definitely, man. Let's jump back over to Hip Hop Toys real quick in the sense of the subway cars, man. That was something new that I had seen. It was before Decon, but I remember I was talking to somebody at Decon. It was either Phantom Lake or maybe Jazz Wizard. Somebody wanted to see the subway cars, so I started doing a little bit of research on the subway cars. Saw Sket One on there. How did that come about, man? And how are those going, dude? They look super cool.
They're really, really good for us, man. Like
Yeah.
they really are. So like I have luckily enough, like my partner also has the same exact affinity and love for graffiti and graffiti art. I just happen to come from that background and that as a part of the art that I created when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's the art that I still get to create when I have a chance. I just long to be able to do more. That's why I just envy Eddie so much when I get to see him go out, and I'm just like, how do you have the time?
I don't think he sleeps. Number one, I think that
he's
got a leg up on everybody when you're nocturnal like that. You know what I mean?
So like, we both have that love, and we partnered with Def Projects, and like he's just what he does is phenomenal, and like there's a plethora of amazing just graph writers out there, from super old school to as modern and as young that they're creating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Dragon 76 is probably younger than me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So
And when you're doing when you're doing those, man, is the licensing, is it kind of, I don't want to say it's the same. I mean, or is it the same as far as your approach to
That's
the
yeah,
artist?
that's exactly how we kind of have a similar approach right now with licensing for everyone. You know what I mean? We just kind of we talk to them, we show them the product, we present the idea, and then just we open the communication and go from there. You know,
Yeah,
most of the time they're super receptive. You know, because they realize we're not a giant, we're not making anything in giant numbers. Like, yeah,
right,
100 fully painted figures is a lot of work, as you know, but
right.
that's nothing in the numbers if you look at a mass produced piece.
Sure.
So when they look at it, they see the heavy art element behind it when they see the numbers that we're making. So they're automatically like, oh, this is another art company. This is an artist that's one, you know. So I think we have that appeal to them drastically. They see, oh, it's art. So yeah, I'll sign on. As opposed to, I just want to make a figure. You get $2 a piece. We sell it for 12 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. Um, do you think you have a more success when you do exactly what you say right there? You present it as an art piece.
To certain, yes and no, because I'm not above the, like I'm going to licensing con in a couple or licensing expo in like a month and a half.
Mhm.
And if the right license comes, like if it's in our laps, like we're gonna have to go to China for production. You know what I mean? Like we're not above that whatsoever. But it's just it's having that right piece, that right license, that right the right amount of royalty that it makes sense to do a giant number as opposed to 150, you know.
Yeah. Dude, Licensing Expo. Tell me about that. You piqued my interest, man. What is that all about?
So it's in Vegas.
Okay.
I think they have one in Vegas, they have one in Dallas. Um I got turned on to it by a couple of my friends who also do the horror convention thing, because like you mentioned horror a couple of times. That's kind of how I started out doing horror conventions. I have a lot of friends that still do that, so I'll go to them now just to hang out with my buddies. And when I was talking to them about the licensing game, they were talking about the different movie licenses that they have, because in the horror convention world it's the same as the toy world. There's a lot of people doing bootlegs and there's a few people doing licenses. It's just that it's that world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just in talking to them, they brought up what licensing expo was, and it's literally, I think there's 100+ brands, 100+ licensors with different artists, different movies, Netflix, Disney, Peanuts, different rap labels, different independent rappers, their management, like all of that's there, every different thing. And you just, once you sign up for it, once you're inside, you've paid for your admission or whatever, you have a portfolio of all these different people that are going to be there. And then you just start sending them messages and you try to set up meetings for the 3 days that it's held. It's basically
Wow.
Tuesday, a Wednesday, and a Thursday. You set up like 15 to 30-minute meetings. You have a block from like 9 to 6 that's on like whatever the calendar is that you try to fill up. So you just send a whole bunch of letters, a whole bunch of things, try to set up meetings. And then you just talk to them, you know, build
Mm.
like your suitcase like you do when you go to cons to show people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you build your little suitcase, you go through, and then yeah. This is our very first one, but like I try to do as much, like with anything, I try to do as much research as I can. I try not to go in, I try not to go in too blind, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, Looking back at the Hip Hop Toys page, there is some crossover there between Remix Plethora and Hip Hop Toys. How does that work out, man? Do you guys decide as a company, like, hey, we need to make these figures, and they will come from the Remix Plethora side, or how does that get worked in?
Yeah, so usually like it's some of the times it'll be, hey, these are the ones that are, because I do the hyper realistic paint jobs, but I can also do cartoony, like heavily cell shaded. It
Yeah,
just, it all depends on if we're doing, everything we've done so far has just been the rappers. It's been very like, it's just been the persona.
sure.
There's been tons of ideas to do their characters. Well, I take that back. The one that you have right there, the Dr. Octagon.
Yeah.
That's the only one that we've done that is it's a character.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a more cartoony.
Right. And that's a sick figure too.
So if it's in those, like, those are the ones that I'll handle. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that and sometimes, like, yeah.
Sick.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a that I was gonna say that's the one. Now there was a couple different versions of this, right? I want to say that I saw a different one at DesignerCon maybe that same year.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's one. So we've released a holographic backer card.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And like we've hit it off with Cool Keith. So we've released those two versions. We have the Black Elvis figure, and then there's I can't spoil it, but there's a couple more that are coming up down the line. Basically, every album that he's done, just look out. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
right
that
on.
gives the opportunity to. We have stuff coming down the line. There's stuff that we can steer into. We can promote more. You know, we can line up with different releases with the artist. We can have that artist show up at the booth or come to the event, depending on what city the event's in. That's what we try to do more than just have the figure there, you know, because like at I don't know if you got to be at the booth at the time, but at Decon we had Cool Keith come by on Friday, and then we had Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5 come by on Saturday. We had a couple of managers and different VIPs and stuff like that just stopped by, because once they're able to be at the booth, see the product, and hear the pitch, it just goes a long way.
Yeah, I bet, man, to see it in person, to actually see the pieces in person too. Do you get a lot of referral business from artist to artist?
From artist to artist, but the main thing that I've started to learn, man, is you never know who's at your booth. You just never know. Like, I don't know how many times, especially at both 5 Points and Decon, because that's New York and that's LA, that there's just been somebody standing at my booth. I give them the spiel. I try to tell them how much, you know what I mean? Just try to show how much this means to me and everything else. And they're like, hey, here's who I am. And there's somebody's manager. And then you have 3 contacts right away.
Oh, wow.
That's happened more than twice, just from somebody being at the booth. And I could have just stayed there. Like you said, I could have just stayed there with my head down, painting the figure, and just been like, hey, can I help you? And not, you know what I mean? Not engage, not try to reach out, not try to be personable.
Right.
Those things I try to pass on to everyone else, man. It's just, you never know who you're talking to.
Yeah, straight up, man. That's a good approach, dude, especially when you don't know who, you know, like you said, you don't know who's really standing at your table. You know, especially people who are maybe have a high position like that, but maybe aren't so much in the public eye, especially, you know, like their client, whoever that may be.
Exactly.
Let's touch on this one real quick, man. This was the Cousin TL figure. Now, this was sculpted by you?
Yep, I did the digital sculpt on that one.
Cool. So this was this is the Cousin TL figure. Now, Cousin TL was the DJ for the Assembly Required show at 103.3 FM in Asheville. And here's another. This is a good example right here, man. Made in USA 2024 remix plethora right there on the back. But now this figure at the time, Cousin TL was battling cancer at the time.
Yeah.
Now this was 100% your idea, your process.
Yeah, man. So I met Cousin TL at the very first Assembly Required. I come from the tip your DJ world. I mean, obviously, I'm the hip hop guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even when it was just remakes plethora, I'm still the fucking hip hop guy. So I would walk up there and be like, "Thank you, man. I really appreciate that." And then I gifted him the first thing I gifted him was a Sir Mix-a-Lot Baby Got Back figure.
Nice.
It's just a dump mold that you can get of like the Venus de Milo thing that's on every resin place at every store, you know, just that it's one of those.
Sure.
Every artist has it. So I did a dump mold. Instead of packaging it forward, I turned the butt forward. I packaged it backwards. It's just very simple for Baby Got Back, for Sir Mix-a-Lot. It was just a simple, stupid thing. But when I gave it to him, we both laughed about it. You know, we developed that connection. And then he started coming to the booth. He bought a Jackie Brown figure from me. I've gifted him a couple of boom boxes, some microphones. And just every year I would reach out to him. We would talk. We would catch up. I would listen to his radio show.
Yeah.
And then he was diagnosed with cancer last year. And his wife had posted typical GoFundMe updates and everything. And it was just one of those updates where I was like, they wanted $2,500 for a treatment. And I couldn't, like, I can't afford $2,500.
Sure.
But being a toy artist and everything, I was like, I can make $125 toys. So I had that thought, man. And I've learned that if I have that thought, if it's a good natured thought, just do it, man. Don't you know what I mean? If it's sending a message to your friend, if it's one of those things, like you just want to do something, if it's good, do it. Don't hold yourself back. Don't feel self-conscious about doing a good deed, you know?
Yeah.
And I've had to teach myself that. And I had that inspiration and I just made the figure. Then I reached out to Matt and it went from there, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's an awesome idea, man. And I know that money probably helped them out. I don't know if that GoFundMe is still going or not.
Yeah, we've sold about half of the 100 so far.
Nice.
Like officially we've sold 40. We've sold 48. We've given away 2 to his wife, and there's 1 that's in Clutter Gallery. So I have number 52 and up available.
52 and up, and they're cheap, man. $25, right?
Yeah, and everything, 100% of it goes to his wife.
Yeah, so $25 on that. Can you still hear me, Lee?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Okay, my screen froze for some reason, man.
Yeah, no worries. You're still beautiful.
$25 for the Cousin TL figure. That one is available in the Hip Hop Toyz store. All the money is going to Cousin TL's wife, who I'm sure probably still has some expenses to pay for.
Well, I'm positive. Like I just sent her the money for 6 figures yesterday. So it's something, man.
Yeah.
You know, like we were saying, you know, like it's probably comes from the background that I had mentioned earlier with my parents, and like I don't know, man, just do good, put good out there. You know, I kind of learned that from My Name's Earl.
Yeah, there you go. Man, that's crazy, dude. Now I can see you like in real time, but I'm looking at my thing and it's just completely black. So
I understand. It took me forever to even get in here. So
I don't know what the deal is, man. It usually StreamYard is on point, dude. I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at my Wi-Fi. Everything looks good to go on this end. So I don't know. Am I just a black square now?
Yep, that's all you are.
Yeah, just a black square.
Ooh, it might be my show now. Oh, my bad. I didn't know you were still here.
Golly, man. Yeah, don't know. Let me try this real quick.
I told you about an hour and then chaos, man.
You were at more, I think you said 20, 30 minutes, man.
I did say 20 or 30 minutes, man.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good, 20, 30 minutes. So let's just, okay, man, I'm just going to focus on you for a minute on the screen here.
No worries, buddy. So yeah, guys, please follow Hip Hop Toyz on Instagram. That's how we handle everything. But yeah, the Cousin TL figure, like if you can, please pick one up. I know a ton of artists grab one at Assembly Required. It meant the world to me, guys. Honestly, I do appreciate it. I know a bunch of you guys are in the chat, so just thank you.
Right on, man. That was and like I said, $25 at hiphoptoyz.com. Go ahead and you can get the link on IG. You can find it there. What's next immediately for Hip Hop Toyz?
Oh, You God. You God's the next one that we've announced it. It's online, but we haven't like did the big push. Um, that's our first Wu-Tang member. We have Inspector Deck on deck. Pun intended. Stupid pun intended. Um, yeah, that's two of the things that we've got coming up immediately. Of course, Dell's getting a lot of hype behind it. We haven't officially dropped it yet, but
Nice. And then for Remakes Plethora, man, what's on the docket for Remakes Plethora?
I'm trying to figure out how to make I'm in the process of making an 8-foot carded figure, life size, for an art show that probably won't get done in time, and then when it does, I'll have to drive it because I won't be able to. Yeah, no, I'm that's what I'm doing.
Dude, so let's back up a second. You said an 8-foot figure.
The backing card is 8 foot. The figure's about 6 foot. Yeah.
And how are you doing that, man? Is this a 3D print or what is going on there?
It's a kit bash.
Okay.
I mean, like, we're all toy makers, so it's a mannequin. Of course it is. Like, what else is it going to be?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a made up mannequin and everything. But then like designing the backer card and getting the backer card printed. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. I originally started doing the 24 by 36 because it's cheaper to get a poster size print than a piece of plywood. But then I decided not to make the figure 2 foot tall, but 6 foot tall. And then, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, now I'm just trying to figure out how to blister a 6 foot figure.
Wow. Yeah, dude. I mean,
it's basically a Christmas tree box, a very clear Christmas tree box.
that makes sense. There you go. I'm thinking to myself, what would you? God, dude, I don't even know where to start with that one, man. That's unbelievable. And you said that's for a show.
Yeah, but it's not going to get done in time, so it's going to be like the same show like next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so I have these ideas and I'm like, yeah, let's do that. But then it's a massive undertaking and I don't have any time.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say you're probably stretched for time right now, dude. Do you have any pieces right there with you that you could show off right away?
I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay. While you do that, man, I'm gonna jump out of here real quick and then jump right back in to see if it fixes my screen.
Yeah, man. No worries.
Appreciate it. I'll be right back.
Cool deal. All right. So this was literally the only thing that was close to me. So this is like a I can't remember the artist's name. Chiodi, Choidi. Oh man, I can't believe I'm blanking. Anyway, he's a comic book artist from the 90s. He made this little guy that was released, but it was one of my very first kit bashes that I had sculpted into a tank girl.
Nice.
But I'm just struggling to cast it properly because the mold, it's very tricky to mold.
Yeah, it looks like it, man. That looks like a funky one.
Yeah, because there's a lot of gaps in between her thighs and legs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like I've had a couple people tell me 3-part mold, but I've only done a 2-parter. I've never made a 3-part mold before. So it's one of those. And then Fritz, Throwaway Toys, and we have a whole line of blaxploitation figures that are in the works.
Oh, nice.
It's like so I'm getting back to doing mold making and some casting and stuff. And as crazy it is, like Fritz doesn't mold, he doesn't cast. He does all of course not, because he does 2 foot tall thing castle ray skull monstrosities.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, man, it's like kit bashing on a whole other level.
On
There,
a whole other giant mecha level. Yeah.
I think the smallest thing that I have from him is like a 5.5.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely the smallest thing I have is like a 5.5, and it's literally like what he throws away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because like I've been to his studio and I see like what he has in the works and just his what he has to pull from, because his collection is bigger than it's his collection is immaculate.
yeah. I remember him telling me in at Assembly Required, he's moving, like you said, or he just moved. But
I can only imagine because he was telling me the list of like, because he had to go through and value everything for moving.
right,
And
right.
he's just like the number of lists that he had of $1,000 toy things, because he's like, they wanted replacement value, not what I paid for it, you know?
Right. Well, and it sounds like with him, it's not just toys. It sounds like they collect a little bit of everything. His wife is also a collector,
As
and
yeah, she's amazing with she has just immaculate old school 50s like outdoor furniture and amazing Pyrex dishes. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
like their house is just a wonder trove to walk through.
That's wild, man. That's crazy. Well, it looks like the screen is fixed, my man. Thank
Yeah, I'm
goodness.
glad you're back, buddy.
Thanks for sticking with me there. Anything else you want to get out there, man, before we let you go?
Man, just hug your friends, man. Tell them you love them.
Right on, dude. Thank you for coming on, dude, and making time to come on. You guys follow Hip Hop Toyz on IG. Also follow Remakes Plethora. Cousin TL figure, $25. All proceeds go to Cousin TL's wife to pay for expenses. You can find those links, or you can find that buy on hiphoptoyz.com. Lee, thanks again for coming in, dude. I'm sure we'll see you at you doing decon this year?
Oh yeah, you coming up to 5 points?
I don't think so, man.
Oh, you got to,
dude. I have so much.
Like, oh yeah, like insider information, man. The Hip Hop Toyz thing, it might be even bigger at 5 points than decon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, man. Because
I can see that in New York.
We're getting close with Clutter, yeah, and it's New York, and yeah, what we have connection wise in New York, and what we can potentially, what's in the works, yeah. So if it's in your budget or in the possibility for you to even like do a write off for the show, you know what I mean, like to make the trip.
Yeah. Yeah. And when is that? When is 5 points?
June, I want to say. I'm just so horrible at dates. There's so much. Yeah, I think June.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Shoot, man. So look for Hip Hop Toyz at 5 Points Fest in June, and then
we'll definitely be at decon 100%. Like we've got to catch up more. Like it was a pleasure hanging out and getting to actually talk to you in Asheville. So I just can't wait.
Yeah, dude, that was fun, man. Those were definitely some memorable times. Dude, I'm just thinking about when I believe it was Pikmin. And,
yeah.
and Phantom Lake. We're in Eddie's room hanging out, and Porpoise is there. That was wild, dude. That was cool, man. I'm just starting to all coming back to me now.
Yeah, man. That's one of my favorite things about conventions, man, is just being able, because like we're all so busy, man, and like
yeah,
all my friends live all across the country, man. So it's the only time I get to see them,
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool, man. I'll look forward to seeing you at decon, dude. I will definitely be there this year.
1,000%.
If I don't see you at 5 Points, man, you kind of piqued my interest with the date there. I thought that was a lot sooner. I thought that was in April for some reason. I must be thinking of something else.
Yeah.
So, well, right on, dude. Thank you for coming in again, man. Super
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For your time, and follow Lee on Hip Hop Toyz and Remakes Plethora. Thank you, brother. Take it easy.
Yeah, buddy.
Lee, my man. Killer work, man. What's really cool about these, and what I didn't realize at Designer Con, was that you can get these same figures, carded figures, loose figures, all hand done, man. Super meticulous paint. The paint on this right there, I mean, you got the blood splatter, the skull, really, really detailed work. and it's all done by Lee. I mean, they have some really cool names on there. Like I said, kind of an eclectic group of hip hop artists on there, but all, I mean, super cool, man. I mean, yeah, I think you got to be a little bit of a unique person to really get into some Cool Keith. I love Cool Keith. I know Ordinary Toys does. Um, but there's just some really good people on there, man. Cormega, that's another one. Big Daddy Kane, we didn't talk about that one. Murs, he's another guy out here from the West Coast. That's super cool. Next thing we're gonna do is I got Ernie from Ocular Rhombus coming in. We are going to take a look at remix, or I'm sorry, at Robot Resurrection happening this Sunday. Ernie, you ready, my man? Boom, he is ready. Let's go.
I'm ready.
What is up, dude?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How have you been since AR? You have not put down the figures for 1 second since then.
I can't. I have to be making something. I need to be working on things. And then I decided that I would do a show because that's,
because you need some more stuff to do.
I needed more things to do. I was like, I don't have enough on my plate already. Let me put together an art show. But I've assembled what I think is a pretty cool collection of people to do this thing. So
yeah, absolutely, man. So let's just kind of what was it? Was it something? What was it that made you want to do a show? Just seeing the other shows, or was it something that AR where you're like, man, we should try to get together again somehow, whether it's in person or online?
So
it came together really quick.
It did, and it really, like, I just kind of threw it together, and it snowballed. Like, I didn't expect as many artists in it as I have, and I really just, like, I had an idea, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. What's the worst that could happen? Is it like, only 20 people sign up? It'll still be cool.
Yeah.
And I was working on my Apocalyptico 3-piece, and I just was like, there's not a show for robots. There's not like just I originally wanted to do something more focused. Like, I wanted to just do a show of IG-88 and just people doing stuff with that character. But I thought it was too niche. So I said, okay, we'll just do robots in general.
Yeah.
And I just, I put it out there. I reached out to a few people to be in it, but almost everybody who signed up for it, like, found it and asked to be in it, which was really.
Yeah, dude. I think, once you said robot, I can't believe that no one's done a robot show yet. And I think that's very cool that you hit on robot, dude. That is, God, the endless possibilities, man. What has been your biggest challenge so far of doing an online show?
I mean, nothing's been super challenging. Just kind of keeping track of everybody and making sure that everybody has the correct information. I know that this is my first one, so I made the poster with all the names on it like super late. Like, I did it like, a few days ago and posted it. But before that, it was just these like, little thrown together flyers that I had made. But everybody's been super great about it. Everybody's been helping promote it on their own feed and in their own stories and stuff like that. And it's been, I still have people asking me to be in the show. And, even though it's like, I signed somebody up yesterday for it. And I'm like, well, you didn't make the poster, but, absolutely you can make a piece for it. Just, here's the logos. And
you're like, you realize the show's on Sunday, right?
Like, do you think you have enough time to make something? If so, then go for it.
Yeah. Right on, dude. So how many we up to in the with the artists? Well, over 60, right?
I think it's 61. I think it's 61 people right now, but it might be 62. It's at least 61.
Nice. So Sunday, how's it going to go down on Sunday? What do you got going on?
So Sunday, everyone's going to drop their stuff at 10 p.m. Eastern, and I really I'm stuck with that time now. I did schedule it super late, but I also like didn't know what I'd be doing with my kids for Easter or whatever.
Sure,
So
sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
so 10 p.m. I might go live that night.
Okay,
If I don't, obviously I'll be live with you on Monday.
right.
Um, but I'm trying to go live on Sunday night, at least for a little bit, and talk about some of the stuff on there. I just got to figure out the technical aspect of um, doing that and being able to share the screen. Uh,
Through IG,
yeah, it's not really a good way to
it's
do it.
yeah, man. There's not an easy way to do it, really. I don't know, man. You know what? I haven't done an IG live in a while, and I just can't remember if
I can,
that's even if that's a possibility. If you can do it.
I mean, I could just pull stuff up on my laptop and show them that way. I know people have done that.
Yeah, man. I think it's sometimes I think I remember what I had to do was basically run the live from my phone and
Hmm.
then flip the camera around and show it on a computer or iPad or
Yeah,
something that can scroll through
so
like that.
I might do that.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. So wow, man. And now you're in the show too, or no?
Yes, yeah, I made 3 pieces.
That's it?
Just that's it. Well, yeah, I mean, I made more, but I've been posting everything in threes. Since just before assembly required, I had posted these 3 figures that I really wanted to stay together in, like, if you go to my page.
Yeah.
So ever since then, everything that I post has been in groups of 3,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
so that everything kind of shifts down like in rows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There
So
you
I
go.
wanted to do just 3 for the show, but I did some other figures that just kind of go with them. I posted one of them yesterday, the War Duke or the Cyber
Yes,
Duke.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that was one that was almost for the show, and then like there's a couple on my desk that didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah.
This was a uh, this was a he didn't make the cut. That's a Jesus head
Oh god.
on here. He didn't. He's just something that it didn't look as good as the others. So I was like, yeah, well, that's fine. I'll put him out later.
Yeah.
Um, that painted droid that I did, um, that was another one that was a potential piece. That one, the security droid.
Oh, that was a great one, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, since it was just a paint job on an existing figure, I didn't feel
Sure.
like it was special enough. He wasn't a complete creation.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. So
but
looking forward, man. So now is this going to be or do you even know yet? Is this going to be a one shot deal, man, or is this going to be a
so
yearly? Yeah,
I'd like this one to be a yearly thing.
yeah,
And I could do it on Easter every time. I mean, that's why the resurrection theme is there, because I thought people can make a piece that's just a robot. They can make a piece that has some sort of religious imagery in it if they want, or they can make a piece that has some sort of sacrilegious imagery if they want. It didn't have to involve all 3 together. It just had to involve robots. That was the only one that you had to have. Um, and I dipped into it a little bit with my pieces, but and some people are and some people aren't, and that's fine. Like I would just wanted there to be robots, but I figured I'd give people more options by sort of adding a sub theme. So I would like to do this show again next year, if depending on how well it rolls out and how well it's received. And probably for the same day, that way you can keep the same theme for it.
yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, why robots, man? How did you land on robots? Are you a robot fan or just like, man, I can't believe no one's done a robot show?
I mean,
Once I first heard about it, that's what I said was, I can't believe no one's done a robot show.
and that's what I mean. That was my first thing was nobody's on a robot show. I mean, I love everyone loves robots,
Yeah.
and what I thought was really funny was after I announced it, how many people who signed up said I was working on a robot anyway. Can I do it for your show? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was like, I want to say like at least 10 people who joined the show who said that they were already working on a robot concept, and they wanted a reason to release it, and I was like, okay, I'm happy to give it to you. I'm happy to give you a reason to put out more cool robots into the world. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of robots out there.
there is, man. What's going on with Ocular Rhombus as a brand for yourself, man? What do you got working on besides cranking out the figures every day?
Cranking out the figures. Once we finish Robot Resurrection, I'm just gonna keep working on stuff. I have some other concepts in my head for toy shows. Um, I want to space them out though, because I know that this one was really sort of, and it was only because I wanted to put it on Easter, but it was
Yeah.
really sort of jammed in between a million other shows. And I want to thank everybody who's involved and everybody who signed up with it for putting up with the scheduling of all these things and putting
Yeah.
up with the fact that I really, like, I sandwiched it right between Sewer Showdown and the wrestling show that's going to be in April,
Mm.
which I still haven't decided if I'm going to take part in. I don't know if I have a concept for it.
Oh, dude, you got a wrestler in there. I know for a
I can
fact.
try to pull something. I don't want it to be half-ass. It's got to be like totally original. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it. I'm gonna probably make a decision like right after Robot Resurrection.
Yeah.
And then, I want to kind of plan out my next move for a show. But as far as anything else, like, I'm not doing any conventions that I know of for a while. I know, that next year I'll be doing Assembly Required again, because that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that was.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to make it out to Decon possibly.
Nice.
And now I want to go to 5 Points too, though. So,
Yeah, I know, right? Gosh, man. And I think that's one of the tricky things that I've seen too is, or even experienced, is if you throw an online show, when do you have it? And I
Right.
think that might be the key, man. I think maybe you just kind of go for it. I think there's so many shows out there. And I think a lot of people talk about, well, there's not many shows, but I think if you really start adding them up, I think there's more than we think. You know what I mean? Especially when you start throwing in like in action figures and some of the other clutter shows.
Yeah.
Um, but I think what's really cool, man, is that even though you did sandwich it in between some of those other shows, you got over 60 artists that are ready to go.
That blew me away, honestly. Like, I didn't expect there to be that many people. I thought because of the timing of it, and because it was my first show, like, like Lab Monkey #9 puts on shows all the time. So, like, obviously, like, there's going to be tons of people who join up with his shows. But I was just so surprised the response to it, and honored, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because what do I know?
Well, it's cool. I think it's really cool that now this is the first show that you've thrown, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for it to be, I mean, look at that. You got, your first show. It's on Easter. It's later on Easter. It was somewhat short notice. I guess it depends on if you were participating in any of these prior shows,
right?
But all that being said, man, you still have 60 plus people that are going to be in there. I think it's going to be a freaking phenomenal show.
I'm excited. I've seen some of the works and like some of the in progress stuff that people have been working on, and there's some really cool things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if you saw the giveaway post the other day, I think you did, because I think you answered to it.
I did.
There was some robots in there that, I mean, you talk about some deep cuts on some of them. When Robot Resurrection first came out, I was talking to Hip Hop Toyz about, what are you going to do? And he came up with some really good ones. And then I saw that list where people are answering, was like, oh man, there's some really good ones. So I think, I mean, just from volume alone, right? Over 60, you're going to see a really good variation of robots, I think, especially with the way people were answering in the show the other day.
Yeah.
It's going to be something really cool. So the pieces are dropping at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
You'll be back here with me on Monday at
Great.
6 p.m.
Yep.
Pacific time, and we'll go through these bad boys one at a time.
And it's mostly toys, but there's artists in there who do paint and digital art as well. I wanted to open it to a variety of different disciplines. Just 'cause
Yeah,
I like seeing how all the stuff mixes together and how it all seems to to work together. Not that I don't love toys, obviously. Mhm.
yeah. And I was talking to her toys the other day, and we were kind of talking about the difference between a toy show and an art show, and how they mix together, and you can really have a lot of everything that you just said mixed into one, and it kind
Yeah.
of becomes this really cool art show. I think Sewer Showdown was like that.
Mhm.
Apocalypse 3 was like that, uh,
Yeah.
where you have, just like you said, man, a bunch of different stuff going on all around the same theme. I think it worked out great for Sewer Showdown. There was some really cool 2D art in there.
There really
Uh,
was, yeah.
yeah, some 3D sculpts, some digital work that was in the works, and then of course resin work, vinyl work. It's nuts, man. There's so much going on, and with robots as the theme, dude, I think everybody's in for a treat for sure.
And the only other requirement that I had for the show was that nobody use AI um,
Yeah,
to make their stuff. And I think that that's kind of ironic in that it's a robot show, but I didn't.
isn't it though?
Yeah,
I
you know what? When I was trying to plan it and I was making these little flyers, I was like Googling pictures of robots, and so many of my search results were AI images, and I was like, this shit is just taking over. It's too much. Like
Yeah,
I you can't scroll Instagram now without looking at all kinds of 2D art and being like, well, is it real or is it AI? And it's like I don't want to have to I don't want to have to make that determination. So I was like, you know what, just don't
yeah,
use
100%, man. I agree with that. And it's even in the smallest things, dude. When I'm setting up the show on StreamYard, um, it's asking me to put the title in and then a description of the episode. Um, and just within the last maybe month or so, there's something that popped up on there where it says description, and then it's got a little AI button right next to it. You can just press that and have them write the description for you.
That's
You
great.
know,
I ugh,
but it's funny that you say that it's about it's a robot show and there's
yeah,
no AI, which I 100% agree with, man. And I think the majority of people in the room would agree with that too.
yeah.
It's a different thing, man. I really think that if you're really good with words and phrases, especially adjectives and descriptive words, chances are you're going to be probably a pretty good 3D art or an AI artist.
Yeah.
Uh, I've seen the way that some of those people work, and um, it's interesting. I'll
It's
say that.
it's fascinating, and I definitely think it's a tool that has its place in the world. I think it can be useful and it can be used for good things. I just I think a lot of times in art it becomes a crutch.
Sure.
So I figured it was best to just avoid it. And I think some of the other shows that have had gone on recently have taken the same approach.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, man. I think Lab Monkey 9. I did see his email that went out, and very specific, man. No AI, and I think that's probably the best thing to do is probably just leave it out altogether.
Yeah.
Um, well, I'm going to let you go, man. I'm sure you got other stuff going on. I will see you Monday night at 6 p.m., 9 o'clock your time. Robot Resurrection. Tell everybody one more time where it's at.
Robot Resurrection is on your phone and your computer via Instagram at 10 p.m. on Easter Sunday, or if you're in another time zone, whatever your time zone equivalent of 10 p.m. is, because I have a lot of European artists in the show, and they're like, I got to post at 4 a.m. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right, right, right.
Um, so yeah, Robot Resurrection, hashtag Robot Resurrection 24 will be the hashtag. Not that that'll work. And because Instagram hates hashtags now.
I know it, man. I know it.
But I sent you the full artist list as well,
Yes.
so that it's easier for you to um, find everybody for our recap show.
Awesome, man. Thank you for that. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Um, Robot Resurrection Sunday. You guys make sure you tune into Instagram. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Hit that hashtag Robot Resurrection 24. Like Ernie said, who knows if it's going to work or not.
It might work.
Yeah, it might. It probably. You know what? You know what? It's really going to depend on is how many different spellings of resurrection that you get is what's going to happen.
True. It is. It's a great name for a show that you can't spell.
Dude, it's a great name though altogether. Like Robot
Resurrection.
I love that name. That's a great name.
I spelled it wrong in the group chat when I created the group chat, and it was up for like a day before General Porpoise fixed it.
Leave it up to Brent, the writer, to fix that.
I was like, what did I do? Did I spell it wrong?
That's funny.
Of course you did.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, good luck with the show on Sunday. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
And then we'll get together again on Monday night.
All right. Good luck to everybody in the giveaway. It's one of my pieces in there.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that, man. This one's going to be awesome. I was looking at this earlier.
My Stone Speaker Insurgent.
Yeah, Stone Speaker Insurgent.
I still have a few of those available in my store. They're all different. They're all unique, but they're the same base.
Yeah, these are awesome, man. So this was a series, but it was a series of one-offs.
Yep.
Is what that was. Really cool packaging too. I would say signature ocular rhombus packaging there.
Plastic prisons.
Yeah, plastic prisons. There you go. All right, my man. I will see you on Monday night.
I'll see you Monday.
Right on. Thanks, buddy.
Adios.
Boom. Ocular Rhombus Robot Resurrection on Sunday. That's going to be an awesome show. I'm sure you guys are going to be busy this weekend putting your stuff together if you're a procrastinator a little bit, or if you just didn't have time to finish up yet. So that'll be really cool. Watch for the drops at 7 p.m. Pacific on Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Ocular Rhombus may be going live. He may not, but definitely keep an eye out. But definitely be back here on Monday at 6 p.m. for a full recap of the show. Let's do some giveaways. We got 2 to do tonight. First one we're going to do is Cousin TL. This is a carded figure by Remix Plethora and Hip Hop Toyz. There was a booth at Assembly Required selling these. These are also for sale at a really affordable price, $25 on hiphoptoyz.com. All proceeds go to Cousin TL's wife, who is still taking care of expenses when we lost Cousin TL. I believe it was right around the time of Assembly Required, unfortunately. But $25, and somebody will be getting this one for free tonight. Let's see how many we ended up with in the giveaway. For this one, we ended up with 27 tonight. So 27 people on the wheel. Let's get this going. Man, there we go. 27 on the wheel for tonight. First thing up is the Cousin TL carded figure. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. $17. The Toy Chef. The Toy Chef. That is a new follow. Just got a follow from them and just started following them, I believe. So Toy Chef, if you are out there, please hit me up with your address so I can send this your way. I will also hit you up after the show and just let you know that you did win. And then this should be going out hopefully this weekend sometime for you. Next one, the last one in the the other thing that both accounts will get. This is Hip Hop Toyz sticker right there. That actually came from Decon. And then of course everybody's going to get the Toys Alive stickers, right? Bam. Working on some new stickers, by the way, so we'll have some more of those pretty soon. Hopefully for the 100th show coming up in a couple weeks. Next thing, yeah, absolutely, Lee. Lee is such a good dude, man. I can't wait just to hang out with that guy again, man. That guy is freaking awesome. Had a really good time at Assembly Required. Great dude, thoughtful dude, just an absolute sweetheart. Um, Make sure that you follow Remix Plethora along with Hip Hop Toyz. Next one, what we're going to do is the Ocular Rhombus piece right here. And there's some information down here scrolling at the bottom. There are more of these. They are all one-offs, but there's more in this series available on Ocular Rhombus's website. So let's jump in there. One thing that I wanted to do real quick, I always forget to do this. Toy Chef, his answer for the giveaway, it was name a one of your favorite robots. His was Gur from Invader Zim. Was Toy Chef's answer. Gur from Invader Zim, and honestly, that's not one I'm familiar with. So other people might be familiar with that one. So let's spin the wheel one more time. Let me share the screen real quick. And this is for the Ocular Rhombus piece. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. That is Dre. Dre. What is up, man? Dre's answer was 1977, 1979, Tommy Rascal wind-up robots. Stuck in my brain ever since I was a wee lad. Still love them today. Bam. There you go, my dude. You have a remakes plethora. I'm sorry. I was looking at his name. You have a Ocular Rhombus one-off piece headed your way, my dude. Check it out. Awesome. Oh man, that's gonna do it for tonight. Big weekend. Happy Easter to everybody if you are partaking in the celebration. If not, at least treat yourself to Robot Resurrection on Sunday night. Pieces drop at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. I will be back here live on Monday with Ernie from Ocular Rhombus at 6 p.m. sharp, regular show time, regular show channel. We'll go over every single one of those pieces in Robot Resurrection. Really looking forward to that. Thanks again to Lee for coming on from Hip Hop Toyz and Remix Plethora. Also for the figure giveaway and Ocular Rhombus for the figure giveaway. Also, thanks to Neil Ewing, Akashic Records and Toys, Zimitco, Saruga Mark for the new pieces in the collection. Zimitco says that Dre's the new has-been as far as the win goes. And where is Colin, man? Colin's been kind of quiet lately, man. I miss that dude. Colin's awesome, man. Colin's one of my absolute favorites. Has Been Toys. Give that guy a follow and a look when you get a chance. Anyways, I'll see you guys back here on Monday. Again, make sure that you check out Robot Resurrection on Sunday for all the pieces. And then back here on Monday. Back here on Monday for the show. I will see you then. Peace.